Hello, I'm Theresa Gutierrez. I'm the owner and founder of 11th Hour Shaman. I am a shamanic practitioner, and I'm here to talk about scientific hand analysis and the school. We have a life school, life lesson, and life purpose in scientific hand analysis, as well as gift markings. But today we're talking about the School of Service. Sometimes it's called the School of Spirit. And the reason is because it's really both. It's the School of Spirit Service. And we'll talk about more of what that means. But the title I gave Spirit Service, Joyride or Heavy Load, is because of a pattern I noticed in people that are in the School of Spirit Service. And that pattern has to do with feeling the energy of burden, whether it's put on the self or others. Sometimes it's accurate, but most of the time it's not, especially when it's aimed at the self. So, has your soul's fingerprint master plan placed you in the School of Spirit Service? Mine hasn't. There's 4 possible schools, and the School of Spirit Service is one of them. It is actually the hardest school to be in. And I know that's not fun to hear, but it's going to be okay. You came here for a purpose, and this is part of it. So, this episode is actually for all of us, whether we're in the School of Spirit or not, because we can learn from everyone. So, we can all learn from the School of Spirit people what it means to be truly in service. Whether in our scientific hand analysis, we are in the School of Love, Wisdom, Peace, or Service, we can all learn from this life school university. You can think of your life school as your personal operating system, how all life experiences are interpreted or perceived will be through your life school's lens. The lens we're looking through today is all about the service of spirit. If you're in this life school, it's really foundational for you to always remember that you're here to raise the consciousness of the planet or humanity through your being, not your doing. No pressure. You're just here to raise the consciousness of the planet. You got this. I know some days that might feel easier than other days, but let's talk about this. This doesn't mean that you don't do stuff because you're here to be rather than do. It just means that you get super clear about why you're doing the stuff. Why are you doing the stuff? With what energy or emotion are you doing all the things with? You're literally here to become a master of service consciousness because you have at least 4 fingerprints that are whorls, but you're not here to become a master of servitude. There is such a big difference. So if you find that you're stuck in servitude, then you are on one side of the pendulum swing, and it is okay for you to let that go and swing on back, either all the way to the other side of the joyride, or you find your sweet spot, the just right in the middle, okay? Your life school is all about the joyful, joyous service of spirit for spirit by spirit. Your soul and great spirit combined, God, source, universe. Your joyous being, free of all grievances, is a service to God and everyone you interact with. Your joy is your purpose, and it's how you serve by just being joyful. Your joy is complete no matter what life circumstances present to you because of your ability to be in constant contact with spirit 24/7. It's okay if you're not happy with all the different circumstances and aspects going on in life. Those are just things to notice that you would like to create change for. But what you feel, even though those circumstances are there, you can still generate joy from your heart, a genuine joy for living life. There's a bug in my room, so if you see me do this, that's why. So you, as the master of service, know your true nature as your oneness with source. You see the divine in you. Therefore, you can see the divine in everyone. And sometimes for people, it starts the other way around. You see the divine in all these other people, and it takes a while to learn to see it in yourself. But at one point or another, this is where you're actually headed, is to be able to see, feel, sense that divine within yourself and everyone else that you meet. So this is a practice. This is your practice being in the school of service. And it's also the core message that you broadcast. It's in your energy field when you're in the practice of being in the school of spirit service. It is, I see the divine in you. I feel and sense the divine in you. That's what everybody's picking up from you. That feels good. So thank you for being that for us. Your ability to see and sense this reality, because it is reality, your ability to see it within yourself and others raises the vibrational frequency consciousness of everyone you come in contact with and the planet itself. Now, for those of you that know Heart Math Institute or Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, this is all about, they study the science of what we know spiritually. But as a master of service, I'm sure you have felt this truth before the science ever had to tell you it was true. So you've had at least one experience, and I really suggest you write it down in a journal. Even if you've already written it and it was a long time ago, revisit that and re-feel those feelings of knowing this truth of your oneness with Source. So my heart goes out to you, though, because within the natural journey of the pendulum swing that is in your school, you'll be experiencing tidal shifts from joyride to burden, and that can leave you feeling depleted or empty until you find your sweet spot. That's your place of joyful fulfillment in the service that you feel called to choose to give. Now, daily meditation, daily prayer, and journaling, these are going to be vital parts of how you organize your day. And I wouldn't skip a day if I were you. One of the practices I'm doing, and I'm not in the school of service, but I'm reading a Course in Miracles workbook every day. And it really gets me in touch with who I really am and where I'm really from and where I'm really going. And it helps me prioritize how I spend my time. I'm in the school of love and wisdom and a little bit of peace because it's in my moon, so I feel it quite strongly. But for you, being in the school of spirit, this could be a wonderful way for you to connect with the truth of your being and help you to release all the grievances and complaints and really come back to the joy that is always present within your heart. Throughout this learning process of the pendulum swing, you'll need to experience times of extravagant selfishness and times of blatant servitude to other people. It's not fun. Now, it's all okay. This is part of the learning process, and you may be able to see pieces of your life at different times where you can say, hey, that makes sense. I was in total selfishness at this age and in total servitude in this relationship and at this job or whatever it is. And so you'll see that you learn and you grow all about true service and joy all along the way. So It's all okay. No need to judge yourself in a negative way for the pendulum swing. We all have one. It just looks different depending on your school. So through experiencing these extremes, you'll discover what joyful service feels like and looks like for you. But be warned, my master of service student, even though you may be in your sweet spot due to the nature of your life school, other people may project their own selfishness onto you. They might tell you that you're selfish when you know you're not being selfish. Now, some of the people I know in this school have fallen for the lie that they're selfish, and then I'm able to see clearly and point it out to them that that actually makes no sense at all. You're not selfish. They're the ones that are actually making requests or demands that are selfish, and it's important to know the difference. Controlling others is selfishness. And so if you're trying to control others, then that's selfish. And if they're trying to control you, that's selfish. So figure it out. We're here for joy. We're here for service, not servitude. And the goal is not to control. The goal is to empower and experience joy. So let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes. Remember, with this pendulum swing process, it's not usually that fast. Remember, without a healthy sense of self that you discover in the pendulum swing, there's no true service. Without a healthy sense of self, there's no true service. The pendulum swing helps you find that true sense of self. Your boundaries then are created because you actually know what's you and what's for you and what's them and what's for them, right? Big difference. So with a healthy sense of self, you create boundaries. That's one. Number two, you have an ability in the School of Service. This is very important for you to do, is to make requests. You need to make requests. And number three, you have an ability and a need to have fun in life. Can you believe it? You're actually meant to have fun in life. It's okay. You need to do it. It's really okay. You can stop serving and go have fun, because believe it or not, you having fun is a service to the world and the people in your life. So those three things, boundaries, requests, and fun, those are like earth, water, and sunshine to flowers, right? They help flowers come to bloom and go to seed. Going to seed is an important part in the School of Service. Your healthy sense of self will open you to practices that keep you in constant contact with Source and an ever-flowing renewal of inspired service, creativity, and fulfillment. One of my clients had forgotten what fun means. She's in her 70s now, but she literally couldn't think of a single thing that she thought was fun or the last time that she had had any fun. And so that became her homework, or her home play, was to write down a list of things that she thinks could be fun and then do them. So that's my homework to you. Know what you think is fun and start engaging, start participating in life and having regular recreation and delight and fun. As a master of spirit service, you have learned the difference between giving service from joy that empowers everyone involved versus giving a service out of obligation or burden, where those receiving from you, they may not even feel appreciative and they may not feel empowered. But if you see someone as empowered and give service, they will take on a feeling of feeling empowered and they will be appreciative. Now, we can't control the universe. We can't control how everyone receives our service. So if you notice there's no appreciation and they're not feeling empowered or taking on their own self-responsibility, then that needs to be reevaluated, and some decisions need to be made by you to set up new boundaries. Remember, I shared that your life school is about being, not doing. One of the things I've noticed is that often those in this school of joyous spirit service aren't joyful at all. And part of me wants to laugh and part of me wants to cry. I don't want to be offensive. I just tend to think everything's funny in the end. And when I'm going through horrible stuff, it's horrible and I feel all my feelings. But when I get to the other side, I think it's funny. So if we can take a look at ourselves with a little objectivity and a sense of humor, I think we're going to get through this a lot easier. Okay? So it seems, though, unfortunately, that people in the school of service, when they're in the student path instead of the master path, they don't feel a whole lot of joy. And they might, how do I word this? It seems that the people closest to them, like their intimate partner or even their kids, feels like a burden rather than a joy. So this energy could also be brought to work or their own business, where the tasks needed and the people they work with might feel or be perceived as burdens by somebody in the school of spirit. Taking care of their own body could feel like a burden. Creating vibrant health can feel like a burden. Proper maintenance of their home, care for their garden, whatever it is they're doing, facing their finances. This could all feel like a heavy taskmaster that's weighing them down and draining all the joy out of their life. But really, it's about perception and choice. So if a student of spirit service isn't mindful, their whole life could end up feeling like a burden rather than a joy. Have you found that's how you've been feeling about your relationships, relationship to your health, your body, your people, your work, your finances, your home? Those are all relationships we engage in. It's just that not all of them are people. So anyway, it's up to you to evaluate and decide if these dynamics within any of these aspects and relationships need to be shifted. Do you feel appreciated? Do you feel appreciative? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel fulfilled in your relationships, in your aspects of life? Or do you feel like your load is feeling heavier and heavier and heavier, no matter how much you give, no matter how much you do, no matter how much you serve? I've read a lot of hands and I know a lot of stories, but I'm going to share these 4 quick stories. The first one's the longest. So I know of a husband and he's in the school of service. He thought of his wife and his children as burdens, and they could feel that. I mean, it comes out in people's expressions, right? So his life lesson is his left thumb, and it's actually family and community issues. So it was playing out perfectly. His hand analysis was totally accurate. And although he was excelling at the skills of his career, his perception of his family was through the lens of servitude and burden. Even though that wasn't actually an accurate conclusion, when you take a look at everybody's contribution in the family, everyone was contributing. Nobody was burdening. Is that a word? Anyway, it's very interesting how we perceive things. And had he chosen to develop his innate potential for being in constant contact with spirit and experiencing the genuine joy that comes from that practice, he likely would have been able to enjoy success in both family and career. But instead, he decided he'd just never be good enough. So he chose an angry denial of God and divorced. Story number 2. I know a woman who chose to see service as joyful and a privilege and a delight. It was quite an inspiration for her, and she created a successful nonprofit organization. You can find her at unstoppablefoundation.org. Number 3, I know another woman who is highly gifted, but she perceives sometimes her very existence as a burden and that she's just not good enough. And she actually has experienced guilt for taking up space and or resources for living, just living a life. And it's this can all be turned around. And it has been, but I'm just saying this is possibilities when you're in the school of service, how this might influence your thinking and your feelings. And number 4, I know another woman who successfully worked up to the top rank of her corporate field of service, but she's constantly overwhelmed with everyone's burdens, the burdens at work, at home, finances, and health. No time for herself, no time for her friends, no time for fun. Vacations are stressful, and the things that matter most, there's just no time for it. Yet feeling like she'll never measure up, and she's just not good enough. She's playing out basically this student path. It's the epitome of service spread too thin, right? And then she feels devoid of joy and life satisfaction. This can, of course, be turned around, but I'm just saying these are different examples of how people experience being in this school. They could be giving and giving and giving and giving and still feel like it's never enough and feel horrible about their lives. And some people are not giving, not giving, not giving, and still perceive everybody else as a burden. It is fascinating. So, self-awareness and connection with spirit, key, absolutely key. So, can you guess out of these examples above, which person received consistent weekly support as she navigated her soul's purpose? That's right. Our successful nonprofit creator. She overcame the core fear of this life school. She incorporated all the aspects of her soul map found in her handreading, and she lives on the master path of joyous spirit service. You may have noticed a theme in some of the examples above. Let's talk about the core fear of students in the School of Spirit Service. This not good enough, not living up to your potential. The core fear is basically not living up to your potential, disappointing God. So are you worried that you're going to disappoint God or you're going to disappoint the divine and be struck by the angry lightning bolt of Zeus, either in this life or the next? Are you worried that you're ultimately not living up to your potential before your time runs out here? This can create intense stress and internal pressure to be more and do more, but all the while believing that you're not doing enough. You yourself have become your burden rather than your joy. I will repeat that. You yourself have become your burden rather than your joy. This is when the core fear has become more of an identity rather than a passing thought or experience. The core fear of not being good enough and not living up to your potential have become your perceived reality of who you are and what you collect evidence for, rather than looking objectively at the core fear of your life school and simply saying, how am I already living up to my potential? Let's write that down. That sounds kind of important. How have I already satisfied and gladdened the divine's experience of me? It's there. It's true. So how is it true? Write it down. If I'm already the joy of the divine, and nothing I say or do can add to nor delete the truth, then what? What's my next best joyous way to spend my time right now? How do I want to serve spirit in this moment? And how do I want to serve my spirit? So your spirit and God's spirit are one. Joy is your purpose. How do you want to serve that in this moment? Who knows? Maybe you'll meditate for an hour. or prep a healthy meal. Maybe you'll go out for a walk, a jog, a hike, or go out to coffee with friends. Maybe you'll serve your family in some way that delights you or create something. Maybe you're an artist, a creative expressionist. Maybe you want to, through an entrepreneurial avenue, create something that brings peace and joy to the people that you work with, that brings spiritual connection to the people that you work with. In any aspect of your life, really. It really doesn't matter what you do. All that matters is that you know your being is all that really matters, and your being is already the joy of the divine. Of course, there's more to your hands than your life school. How does your school of spirit bend your perception of your life's lesson found in your fingerprints? How does your mastery of joyous spirit service infuse your soul purpose as revealed in your hand analysis? Remember, if you got your hands read by me, then you've always got your written PDF report, so you can return to that at any time over and over and over again. Not all hand readers give reports, so it just depends on, who you see. But in my reports, the section of your school of service covers a lot of ground. It covers your school's objective, your number one skill needed, 4 steps to service mastery, and your Master of Spirit service checklist. Now, of course, your report also has all of your life purpose information, all of your life lesson information, and your gift markings. There's a possible 18 gift markings, so which ones do you have? Take a look at those too. I would love to support you in fulfilling your soul's purpose by reading your hands, clearing your energy blocks with shamanic healing sessions. I do in person or remote, and with coaching. So, ongoing, consistent support cumulatively raises your vibrational frequency and expands your capacity to fulfill your soul's purpose in profound and infinite ways. We're truly limitless. If any aspect of your life is out of sorts, so we're talking about your health, your relationships, your home, your money, whatever, excuse me, then I would like to add that your hands hold all the answers. Your whole body actually holds the answers. It's why I created an entirely new system. I'm the only one that teaches this or does this work. And I use shamanic healing with reflexology and hand readings as a diagnostic. It's a shamanic diagnostic process, and it's also a healing process. So your answers have been with you all along, and it's time. It's time for you to allow me to translate the symbols in your hands through soul purpose reflexology, and you can start clearing your blocks, opening your energy flow, and living on purpose. I am here for you. I offer free consultations to work with me one-on-one, and I happen to think it's super fun. It's super accurate. It's like crazy accurate, and it's super spiritual. Because I can't live any other way. So, if you're ready to really take on your soul's purpose and start using your energy to fulfill your highest potential, please reach out to me. My email will be in the details below. It's Theresa at 11thhourshaman.com. Have a beautiful, joyous day. Bye.